I'm the person who has seen this show before.
I'm a person who's never watched an anime.
HiroBabble, we are HiroBabble. HiroBabble, we are HiroBabble. Hey, hello and welcome back to the HiroBabble podcast. I'm the person that has seen this show before.
And I'm the person who's never seen an anime.
And today, we're here to talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion, Episode 6, wait for it, Rei II, Electric Boogaloo.
Is that actually what this one's called?
Yeah, Episode 5 is Rei 1, Episode 6 is Rei 2. Which, I will say, there may be a bit of a discrepancy if you're watching at home, you're watching on Netflix like Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
You may have been looking at our episode titles that we put in the description and going, huh, that's not what it says on Netflix. Well, I'm actually using the original episode titles, which may or may not be my bad, but also the version I have of it shows those as the titles. So
even the Netflix version where the titles are different, the title cards in the episodes say
so that's
episodes, so
once I noticed that, I kind of just committed, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Google it.
Exactly.
Sue me. But in case anyone was confused, if you were to Google the episode title that we say here, it would pull up the corresponding one that you're looking for, or maybe that you've already seen and think we're talking about some weird side story or something like that, but we're not. It's just it's basically the Japanese title, I think, as opposed to the Netflix English translation, which, it is what it is.
Like, the title is not actually the one where they disagree.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about, like, in the description.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
There could be someone out there who thinks that's the
title.
I
I see. Yeah. Well, I mean, in that case, someone just sounds like they want to bring up episode 4 again. And
I'm happy to talk about it.
I don't know if you're ready for this smoke, all right? But speaking of episodes, episode 6, when we left on episode 5, we had kind of summarized this chain of events that happens in like the last 60 seconds of this episode 5, where an angel comes, Rei passes her prototype or her Eva 0 recalibration test.
Yep.
Shinji gets melted through his entire body. And then basically they're kind of like, uh-oh, we're screwed. And then episode 6 really just keeps that energy pushing forward of, we're still screwed. Because there's an angel and it just took out our one Eva pilot that we had ready to go to fight it. I guess, so just, right off the rip, what were your thoughts on this transition from episode 5 to 6?
I guess
give
crazy.
Me your opening thoughts.
It's crazy because at the end of episode 5, Shinji is seemingly killed dead, show over. And he's not.
Mm-mm.
He is in a bad way, though. He's in critical condition. They need to eject him from the mech.
Yep.
Get him to the hospital ASAP. And start looking at Plan B.
Yeah.
Because this diamond in the sky is straight up melting the city.
Yeah, and I know I made reference to it in last episode, but the thing is, I mean, that angel's cheating. It's spawn camping. It kind of, just kind of being a shit. And to make matters worse, it decides that it's just going to drill right into the Nerve headquarters. Which leads me to my first question for you, Spence.
Okay.
What do you think drove the angel to drill right into Nerve? What, I remember when I watched this episode for the first time, my first 2 questions were, how did it know? And 2, why did it have such a kind of well-crafted plan to, infiltrate this underground base that is kind of Fort Knox? Yeah. Granted, I've seen the show, so I know what happens, but I'm curious what your thoughts were.
So clearly, to me, if there's one thing that is obvious about the Angels, it is that they are Gendo's stillborn children. And they are trying to find Daddy. They want to knock on Daddy's 22 doors to get down to...
Isn't it 30?
I don't know.
Is it? I think it's 30 floors, like 30
shields.
Yeah, 30 different metal walls to get through.
Can you imagine building like the 18th? And you're like, come on, like
Jesus.
Really? When the hell are we going to use this? My taxpayer money here.
And then this angel comes out of nowhere and just has an infinite drill.
It is odd that they, that not only the angel went straight for a particular spot and started drilling and knew like that was the plan immediately. This is all I'm doing. I'm melting and drilling.
Yeah.
And that they had specific defenses ready for a drilling attack.
That. Yeah, because initially, I mean, I guess you could argue those walls are put in place in case, you know, an Ava unit gets thrown to the ground. Or for the citizens that they evacuate underground. But it really did feel like a, you know...
It's a little convenient.
What if an Ava, or what if an angel has a drill? What are we going to do then?
Yeah, did we think about that?
Well, now we did. We have 30 walls, so...
I guess to answer your question, I really have no idea why it would specifically start drilling. So the first one that showed up in episode 1 and 2 was pretty much... That was the beaked one. That one was... he's buckling shoes. That was pretty much like a hand-to-hand shooting kind of robot. The second one was kind of the laser arms.
Like the tentacle things.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then now we see one that's completely different design.
Yep. It is just a floating triangle.
Yeah,
What is the name of? Would that be like
it's kind of like a diamond, but it's not a true diamond.
Yeah.
Because it has a top. I don't know.
It's a 3D diamond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of actually let's not have this conversation.
we just like we both know.
I mean, it's kind of like a cube.
Yeah,
but
on its axis.
On it, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Yeah. We saved it.
There's a name for that, but we'll let you guys guess at home.
The people in the Philippines. Come on, man. No, that was not I don't know. That's my anything accent.
That sounded like like the manager of a Sbarro pizza. Yeah, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Get those garlic nuts out of the oven.
We should do a pizza tier list.
Ooh. Okay.
The reason I say that is I saw an ad for Pizza Time today.
Ooh.
And I thought they're probably near the bottom tier for me.
Oh, totally. Maybe we could save that for a potential palate cleanser. Wink, wink. Be on the lookout for that. Ha. But anyways, Pizza Time aside,
right.
It's essentially this big triangle or square on its corner.
Cube,
as if you will. And the kind of, the whole premise is the episode starts, Shinji's basically in the ICU. Rei isn't able to rocket out of her, Ava unit because this thing is able to sense when something's in its immediate vicinity. And their only line of defense is 30 metal walls, which are now being drilled through.
I picked up on a quote. I think Gendo calls this, or Ritsuko does. She calls it the fifth angel.
Yeah.
So we've seen 3.
We've seen 3, and the first one is...
I'm guessing the whole first impact, second impact have something to do with those, but the details of those are still...
theory man. Yeah.
The details are still thin on those.
Yeah, they're still thin.
You see, the impacts are all actually clones.
Of, get this, Shinji's mom.
Right. Quite the impact Gendo left.
I will say, though, one thing that is great about this episode, you see basically a lot of chaos. But then you also see Nerve kind of go into a systematic, methodical way of figuring out how to counter this angel. Which is really cool because they're operating under this, okay, we don't have any Avas right now. This thing has a radius it can sense us in. It's drilling, so we have a time window. And what's really cool is through all of this, Misato is the one that keeps her cool. She's kind of like, hey, status report. And then, granted, we'll get into it later what her master plan is, but it's kind of cool to see this beer drinking, curry top ramen eating person. Oh wait, hang on. So Spencer was right. His initial count of the walls, it's 22, not 30. But going back to it, I guess one thing that's cool is just seeing Misato really jump into that role of being a general.
Yeah, what really was crazy about this is we've seen funny, happy-go-lucky Misato. We've seen like really strict, kind of like disciplinary mom Misato with Shinji in episode 4. Mm-hmm. But we kind of get to see like a hybrid here where she is definitely like at work Misato. Yeah. But she still is like very creative Misato. So we kind of see like a mixture of the two sides of her that we've seen.
Yeah. What did you think about that boat pulling the inflatable decoy of dummy. Ava 1?
Yeah, it was funny and like makes sense.
Yeah, kind of testing to see what the ranges look like.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, like it's convenient how they have like these 22 layers, but it's also like they're clearly prepared for everything. Yeah, they have this train that just sits in a tunnel that can roll out with a massive tank. And
it's purely to test that AT field. Which very effective because it just bounces that shot right off like it's just a little pea. Right.
And so while the angel rips those to pieces, what it tells them is it can only sense where that danger is coming from within a certain area, and it will only target within a certain range. Yeah. And that kind of sparks their plan of what to do next.
Huh. I see what you did there. It sparks. Like electricity. A spark.
Right.
Yeah. Because Misato's plan is
hot.
Shocking.
Okay.
But yeah, so you basically see, kind of like you're saying, these methodical tests being put on by Nerve to kind of determine the best course of action to take on this new angel. And they essentially surmise that the best course of action is they have 10 hours until Ava Unit 1 is repaired. And then it might be 10 hours until it punctures through the 22 walls, and it's like 3 or 4 hours till Ava Unit 1 is repaired.
It's pretty much like they have until just a little bit after midnight. Yeah. Until this thing has gotten to them. But it takes almost about that long to fix the robots and get the kids ready to fight.
Yeah, and basically resuscitate Shinji.
It's like a big time crunch.
Yeah, well, and so what's crazy, though, is Misato gives off this look of sheer confidence. She goes and pitches her plan to Gendo, where she basically goes, so here's what I'm thinking. We take all of the power in Japan, and we snipe this thing.
Yeah. With like a prototype rifle that this other company's making, and that we're just going to test now.
Yeah, and Gendo goes, you've got like a 8% chance of pulling this off. And she goes, yeah, that sounds good. And I love it, because then it cuts to her and Retsuko going down the escalator, and she's like, oh, hell yeah.
Gendo, I forget what he says, but he's like, well, I have no other option, so go for it.
Well, and that's kind of interesting, too, seeing Gendo kind of come at it from honestly a very not like cold-hearted logical perspective, but just kind of going, yeah. And it I think establishes this idea that, he obviously trusts Misato a lot. Yeah. To even hear out a plan like that, but also to not shoot it down in the same way he would someone like Shinji. If they were to
Can you imagine Shinji? Dad, I've been thinking. And
dude, it's really good. Your impression is very good.
I wanted to say too. Wait, hold on. Were you gonna go more on that?
I wanna cause a blackout. I can't.
With your permission, of course.
Just fucking kicks him. Shut up.
Damn it, Shinji! I need answers now.
But sorry, what were you gonna say?
Misato has a brilliant line in the Netflix dub, at least, where she's like, okay, well, what's the angel doing now? And the guy's like, well, it's currently trying to drill into our headquarters. And she goes, oh, the arrogance. I just thought that was really funny.
Shoot, I should have jotted down what she said during that, because I'd be curious if it was similar. But
they're just the writing is so funny.
It's a great line.
They pick their times to be comedic really, really well, where it doesn't feel like they're ruining an already epic moment. Because you still really feel the time crunch. Like, you're it's barely going to line up.
You've got Rei kind of like working overtime, trying to help get things set up and ready to go.
But her comedy in those moments, it makes you confident in her. Like, okay, well, if she's not nervous,
why should I be?
Yeah.
Well, and it also, I think I made mention of it in one of the first episodes. The show does a really good job of kind of making these moments feel like this is just a day at Nerve, you know? So Misato approaching this with that kind of fun brevity of like, we're just going to snipe it. You know, and it's kind of like you're saying, it gives you, the viewer, this you know, ease of mind. You're like, oh yeah, well, she came up with a wacky plan and it got the okay, so let's see how it goes.
I know the gun guys are like, well, you know, we haven't really tested it and it's pretty much still in alpha. You know, you probably shouldn't take it. And she's like, okay, robot, and it like lifts up the roof and takes the gun. And they're like, okay, have it back by 9.
All right, good luck. And they're just like crossing their fingers. I will say though, I love how the scene it cuts from that is to Shinji's classmates playing video games and the news comes on. There will be a brief blackout tonight at midnight. Don't panic.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. And I just have to wonder, I wish they would maybe just show, like, what's the reaction? Because, I mean, they can probably see it, right? Or are they underground?
Well, okay, so that's one thing that I wrote in here is, like, this is the first time that an angel has shown up. I mean, first time of 3, but
who's
that
counting?
we've seen, but...
Of 4. This is the 5th angel.
Right.
We didn't see number 1.
You're right.
I'm right.
But every time they've had, like, a 30-second scene of alert, 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 you know, alarm, and everybody goes in their places, and the building's lower, and it's like this whole thing. This time, it's like they didn't have time for that.
Yeah.
So, like, Toji is playing video games.
Yeah, he's playing, like, Dragon Quest 3, and he's just like,
but, like, one part of a building, a skyscraper got completely melted.
Yeah.
So, It's tough to tell from the episode what the severity of the moment was here. Like, did we just lose hundreds of thousands of people?
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, because before they just showed us, okay, there's really no people out here.
Yeah.
But now it was, like, almost laughable.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I just noticed that was different. And so, yeah, that news broadcast was great. It was weird because they showed Japan from a horizontal angle. And I was like, that's not what Japan looks like.
I've seen a map before. You can't fool me.
But no, I like that stuff. The stuff that fills in, like, what's going on for the normal people is satisfying.
Yeah. And I will say, though, I feel like even if they got caught off guard, considering all of the different countermeasures they have for, you know, an angel drilling into the headquarters, I guarantee you they have a quick evac plan in place. And frankly, I think we also get a better look at exactly that when it cuts to they're doing like preparations for the big attack. You get to see those just miles and miles of power cables, which is kind of crazy thinking.
I know.
I get it's an anime, but just the idea of logistically being able to execute that plan in no time at all is quite the feat.
Yeah, I mean, even how they eventually power up the rifle, it's not just like, okay, once you flip the switch, we're good. I mean, it has to go to the 50 generators, into like 40 generators, into like 20 generators, up a hill, into a couple more, into the rifle.
There are 900 trucks, and each one of them, the AM radio is on, and that is...
So, like, yeah, it is like an anime, and it's crazy the amount of thousands of miles of cable they just happen to have.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it wasn't just like, okay, we flip the switch and the city's blacked out, and it's all in the gun. You're good to go.
Yeah, well, and so following that, they do kind of the preparation, and then... it's such a not funny, but kind of a jarring scene. Shinji just, like, on his health monitor, gets above the safety line, and it's just aptly named Life.
Yeah.
And then the cover comes off, and Misato and Ritsuko are just kind of like, all right, you gotta get in the robot, dude. And he's like, what? And they're like, yeah, you're gonna shoot the angel.
I know. Surprise. Surprise, surprise. Shinji doesn't want to get in the robot.
Yeah. Big shocker. What, did you almost die? You know, it's like, exactly. Grow up.
I know.
Kidding. But also, you know, it's tough. But then he sees his BFF, Rei.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Who's playing super hard to get.
Yeah, this time, he's naked.
Uh-huh.
So, oh, how the turntables, you know? Yeah, you really just almost see his full thing.
Yep.
His thing was almost thanging right out in broad daylight.
She does not care.
She's unfazed.
Because it's his mom. So she's like, I've seen it.
She's like, I've birthed you.
Yeah, you literally... Never mind.
I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
Which I just want to confirm. I haven't said anything. That's just his theory. So we're running with it. And, you know, if you're watching at home, keep your own theory.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, then it's interesting because episode 5, you see more of a personality side of Shinji. But then in this episode, Rei comes in and goes, all right, here's the plan. 0900 hours, you put your suit on.
Yeah.
0905, you're going to get in the Ava.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Quick breakfast.
Quick dinner. It's packaged lasagna.
Yeah.
11:30, grab the gun. Like,
yeah.
And Shinji just goes, I don't want to get in the robot. Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. He pretty much says to her, like why do you want to go in the robot? Because it seems like you want to go in because you haven't been absolutely obliterated every time you go in it like me.
Yeah.
And she says, at least in my version, she says, it's my link.
Yeah.
And that was a really deep line because she goes on to kind of talk about less with her words and more like with her emotions and expressions, just that like she doesn't have much else.
Yeah.
But she's been given this opportunity and she has this.
Yeah.
And so this is her way to give back to Japan.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't really care.
To give back to Japan?
Well, to Gendo.
Thank you.
For creating her.
Yeah.
Her daddy.
Daddy.
Thank you, Daddy. For this, I will put my life on the line.
Well, and so initially, before I started talking about like Misato doing all of the prep work and the miles of cable, we were talking about how, you know, where's the evac? What are these kids doing? You know, does anyone know the brevity of the situation? And those fuckers put themselves in harm's way again. They're all just hanging out on a balcony watching, you know, Ava 1 get ready to fight an angel. And I love how... with the glasses, is it Kendo? Or, no, not
Kendo. It's not Toji. Toji's the bully buddy.
Toji's the bully.
It's alright.
We're just going to call him Glasses Boy.
I call him Reporter Kid in all of my notes.
Well, he goes, I hacked my dad's email.
Of course.
And I found out we were going to be here. And it's just so funny then, because I think it kind of answers the question we were, I guess, putting out there. They know full well what's going on. This is just kind of the life that they and Nerve are living. Right. So it is very interesting to see that level of calm. Yeah, we're gonna watch this Ava fight a giant monolithic cube.
I think it's like it kind of tackles the idea, like the classic idea that adults or like parents assume that their kids don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
But like in reality, they're not stupid.
Yeah.
They do. And this is that case where, you know, maybe Nerve thinks they've got the city on lockdown, but the kids are out. They know where the Avas come out. They're watching them. They're cheering them on.
Yeah.
You know,
That is a really good point, because it's kind of the whole thing of like, yeah, we evacuate everyone and put them underground, and then these kids are like, hey, fuck me, woohoo, yeah, Shinji! And so it's very interesting, but then we get to cut to just this kind of just bonkers shot where we watch this hilltop lined with trucks that have generators on them, and then you get to see this makeshift like kind of configuration that'll power this sniper, and the sniper itself looks fucking sick.
Yeah, even like the cooling units just to cool the generators to run the gun.
Yeah,
is
massive.
They're massive.
Yeah, well, and it's just like kind of, if you want to talk about grandiose or kind of just this, amazing. Oh, Are you talking about amazing of the sniper, or
no? Just what you're talking about.
Oh, well, so the thing that I don't know, it's just I feel like it slowly is ramping up this scale of kind of like, all right, we're gonna do the big plan. Time to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then in the next scene, you get to see the background of the plan, and basically Misato goes, "You have got to hit it.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's gonna take us, X amount of time to reload the damn thing, and we'll probably be dead by then."
What's funny is she doesn't put it that way, though. I expected her to say that.
Yeah.
Like, Shinji, we have one shot. Don't miss. But she pretty much says, like, okay, Shinji, as you know, it takes a little bit to reload this thing. We've got to, like, recharge, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So, like, give it your best.
Yeah,
and I was
then,
like, okay.
And then Shinji goes, so I can't miss. And she goes,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's up for debate. But then you find out that Rei is going to be running backup for Shinji.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And honestly,
it's the classic, it supports my theory of the mother protecting the son.
Ooh, okay. Meanwhile, like, Shinji's just checking out Rei as she changes into her plug suit.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you got lucky once. How about you just cool it and don't be weird looking through the glass? Which, also, let's talk about that dressing room. It's just a non-fully see-through tarp, but you can still see the outline. I don't know. To me, it's just a tad bit interesting, but so they kind of lay out the plan. The blackout happens. Rei's going to run back up for Shinji. Shinji's getting ready. The Penguin is kind of brooding over the valley of Japan.
I think he knows this is a big moment.
Yeah. Well, and it's just very interesting that they include shots of him at all.
I think that actually maybe he had just woken up from his curry coma. He's just now been resurrected.
And he's just like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah. That's how, in my head, that's how he sounds. What? What are you guys doing? Like, I don't know.
I like it.
Yeah, it could be canon, could be not. But, yeah, so then you get to see this moment with Rei and Shinji. As they're kind of talking before the big mission, so to speak.
It's they're kind of going over what her job is going to be.
Yeah,
and that's where she tells him, I'm going to protect you.
Yeah, well, and like, is it Shinji or Rei that says, this could be like...
It's Shinji.
Maybe this will be our last day alive.
He's pretty much like, if we don't make it out of this, I just wanted to say, goodbye.
Yeah, and doesn't Rei go like, why would you say that?
I know. She's like, you don't have to worry about that because I'm going to be...
Mommy's got you.
Yeah, mommy has your baby.
Mommy's Milkies will protect you.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's a cool somber moment because I feel like that's the first time the two of them actually have a real... honest conversation about anything,
like life and death.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy that these two 14-year-old kids are just now connecting over that, because I mean that's a shared experience they both have. Granted, Rei has been out of the loop because she's been in a full body cast for 9 years.
Yep.
But Shinji, I think for the most part has kind of been having to grapple with this idea of, hey, I could die at any moment. In fact, I almost just died like 3 hours ago. So,
right.
If I die, It's all good. Whereas Rei, who has been beaten and battered to shit, is like, no, you're gonna be good. Like, I've got you.
Yeah.
Which is so... It's a very interesting shift, because it's one, kind of sudden, but two, it's a believable moment between the two of them, which I think is really nice, because it has a good grounding in just this monumental scenario that they, for the past 6 episodes, it's their day-to-day life. So
yeah,
I guess it ties into kind of what we've been talking about, where, you know, this is another day at the job for Nerve. You know, this, like, the citizens, they're all used to it. And now I think we get to see the perspective of the pilots, where it's like, for Rei, yeah, this is another day on the job.
Yeah, I guess, like, it's crazy for me to even comprehend, because Rei, I mean, who knows how much training and simulation work she had done before the accident that we saw. But it kind of makes it seem like she has some more experience than Shinji.
Yep.
In, like, how the robots work and how the Evas work. But, like, at the same time, they mentioned that, like, earlier, they had Shinji go up to fight this angel because they hadn't field tested Unit 0.
Yeah.
And so now they're just going to... they're going to basically using Unit 0 as fodder in case Shinji misses.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, Rei is just... she doesn't have the personality to give a shit.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to see, because, like, if that was you or me or Shinji in that position, you'd be like, hell no, you guys are putting me into the fire. And she's like, you're my baby boy. I gotta do it. They asked me and I said yes.
Yeah, it's... because it gives off the polar opposite of how she usually acts, where she does kind of give a shit.
Yeah.
And so it's a very interesting moment that leads into, honestly, probably one of my favorite moments in the series, and that's just watching this, you know, kind of climactic plan come to fruition. Where, you know, you see these generators start spinning up, you get to see the grid as it moves wave by wave by wave.
Yeah.
And all of these people in the control room are, you know, they're calling out, all right, generator, you know, row 1, online. And Gendo just does his classic little...
Yep.
8%.
My mother, or my... my wife and child.
Mommy. But, yeah, and then it just leads to, you know, Shinji kind of locking in. They're doing the big charge.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I love the level of detail. It's just really cool to see how thorough they were with, how is the gun going to get power? How is this going to happen?
I know. They show you the heat on the cords. They show you the targeting computer working. They show you, like, every single thing leading up to this epic climactic moment.
Yeah. Which, speaking of epic climactic moment, I think it was such a... I feel like it had to have been a conscious decision. So, you know, you watch this gun charge up, everything's getting ready to go, and then the angel starts to take aim at Shinji and co., and Shinji fires, and usually in, like, anime, whenever 2 energy blasts hit, or, like, are aimed at each other, they'll, like, collide and create a big explosion.
Yeah.
But to watch them, like...
dance.
Kind of go... like, when you try and put 2 of the same magnet towards each other, they push back. Watching that happen and then them re-twirl and just keep going straight.
Right. It's because Shinji's shooting AT field, it's shooting TA.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Really makes you think.
I wrote the wiki.
Well, and to add on to that, you know, it's time for Shinji to fire a second shot, but Rei steps up and just blocks the whole damn thing.
I know. Yeah, she's using that... they took some kind of experimental piece of metal that was taken off of a... what was it? Some kind of, like, spaceship or something?
Yeah.
Space shuttle?
I think it was from an angel. Like, they...
oh, was it?
Didn't they say it was, like, part of materials from an angel?
Yeah, it was something that, like, it can last, like, a small amount of time, but it'll work.
Yeah, well, and, you know, that small amount of time proves very effective because it blocks the second shot from the angel. Shinji's able to rocket off the other shot, and you just watch this, you know... You watch this plan work, and it's like, holy shit, they did it. And then it's followed by just a great parallel and a callback to, Shinji freaking out over Rei, and the eject pod jumps out. He burns his hands twisting that metal.
Right.
And next thing you know, he pulled the same move his dad did to save Rei. And
like father, like son.
Like father, like son. And
it's cool. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I love the way this episode builds throughout the entire runtime, and then just culminates in kind of right when Rei and Shinji have that heart to heart. It just launches, and it's a solid combination of character development, really cool action, watching just this stellar sniper battle between a giant,
a 99.89% human
cube.
Yeah,
it's a cube. But then watching Shinji jump out, and he's teary-eyed because he was worried Rei died.
Yeah.
And then Rei cracks a smile. I don't know, man.
I know.
It gives me the same feeling episode 4 does. Where
this was so much better than the end of episode 4.
Okay, but it gives me that same feeling though, where you watch Shinji who struggles, I think, kind of just making those connections.
Yep.
But in turn, he connected with someone that, I think deep down he was really hoping he could do that with. And they did it.
You see a really personal moment at the end of both of those episodes.
But it's a moment that is just that is set against the backdrop of taking all of Japan's energy and shooting it out of an experimental rifle at a floating cube.
Experimental positronic rifle.
That's dope as hell.
Dude, there's a few things I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about the dialogue at the end of the episode.
Okay.
But I also want to mention, there's some brilliant art decisions in this as they lead up to the sniper being fired.
Yeah.
They have this cool series of shots where lights are shining behind our main characters. Mm-hmm. They're kind of standing staggered, and the light is shining so bright behind them that they are just black silhouettes.
You're talking about when Misato's explaining the plan, right?
Yeah, but they're on top of the hill.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there's just some really cool use of negative space and stuff that you don't see too much in American or
definitely.
Western style animation, and it was really cool to see it in this. It was super creative and fun. I guess I have a question for you. So the moment that Shinji goes to fire the kill shot, he doesn't necessarily miss. He shoots dead on.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out, but the angel fires at the same time.
Yeah.
So that kind of defunks the theory that they had all along, is that, well, if we're this far away, it won't even know what hit him.
Yeah.
It immediately knows that it's going to happen and is able to fire back. Or maybe it knew all along, or I have no idea, but it made me have the feeling that they were flat wrong and kind of got lucky on this one.
Totally. I think you're spot on, because my interpretation of it in the times I've watched it was that the angel was able to sense the charging of energy.
Yeah.
And in response to that, kind of in the same way that it knew Shinji was coming up from the ground before he even appeared. Hence it started charging and just got him dead on.
Right.
So I have to wonder, maybe it's drawn to the the Ava units. Maybe that's part of it. Or it could just be, the drawing of the energy that it was, going to be attacked by. Maybe it could sense it. But I think you're right. They got lucky, and had it not been for Rei stepping up to the plate and taking that huge shot for Shinji, wouldn't have worked.
She did her part.
Oh, I'll say. Well, I think Shinji did his too. Twice. He hit, because he honestly hit dead on. Had that first shot not done that crazy little, flip-flop. Because what's crazy is both of their shots missed. Granted, the angel shot had more of an impact because they're all human in trucks. But,
yeah.
It's not as if a shot a little bit off is going to do much to an angel, which is why they had to hit it, I think, right on that.
Straight through, yeah.
Yep.
Dude, what do you think about this idea that... This is another crazy idea.
Okay, here's a theory.
Here's another Spencer theory.
A game theory.
What if... this is a horrible theory. What if Gendo...
Okay. What if Gendo?
What if Gendo, though?
What if?
What if he is controlling these angels? Okay, hear me out. Gendo's controlling the angels.
Okay.
He's put himself in a position where he's obviously spent a lot of time of his life building up this nerve group with the Evangelion units and all these kind of things. But he needs job security.
Yeah.
Okay, so he creates, these angels. Right? The angels come, they kind of drill into some shit a little bit. They create jobs.
Yeah.
Primarily, right? He's a job creator. Okay? People have to fix the roads, people fix the buildings, people have to build elevators to lift buildings and lower buildings.
Okay.
Okay? He brings the angels in, and his long-term plan is, not only do I set myself up financially, but I set my kids up financially. And by kids, I mean my son, Shinji, and my second kid, which is my cloned version of my wife. And they become heroes, so they're well-respected. Maybe they get a sponsor deal later down the road. And he just reaps in the profits in the meantime.
I like the theory, but for that to be valid, he would have had to have a hand in making the second impact.
I don't know that he doesn't.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like
that was only like 15 years ago.
True, but the angels started appearing after then. So sure, I mean, you could probably even make an argument that Gendo is profiting off of Nerve and their role in combating the angels, but I guess we'll just have to see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
We'll see if that's as ironclad as your first theory, but I like it.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the dialogue at the end, because I don't know if you wrote down any quotes, but the personal sentiment that they have with each other in mind. Shinji rips open the door. She says nothing. Shinji says, "Don't say you have nothing," as if to say, like, we've got each other.
Yeah.
And then he says,
a very heartfelt scene.
"Don't say something sad, like farewell."
Yeah, it just like one line after another, very, and it just is nice too, because he's emoting, like he has tears in his eyes, and he's just kind of like, for the first, and that's why I think it reminds me of episode 4 a lot, is it's another first for Shinji, when Misato goes, like, welcome home, or like something along those lines. It's like the first time Shinji's been given a place, like to exist.
Yeah.
And Rei gives that companionship. I think that, granted, Shinji like has made his first couple friends, but
yeah,
I think there's a romantic level to it where, Shinji, I think, is kind of loving this idea that he's no longer alone, and he doesn't want to lose that in Rei.
I actually feel like it's not even friendship, because they really don't know anything other than...
You think it's pure romance?
I don't even know that it's romance right now. I just think I don't even think they know.
It's just camaraderie.
It's just like, in this moment...
They care.
We need each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they care about each other because they need each other, and it doesn't really matter what else it is. It's just in that moment... It feels right for them to be together. Like Toji and Reporter Kid, they're buddies.
They're buddies.
But that's like, and not that it's surface level, but they're like schoolmates. Whereas, I wouldn't even know that him and Rei are friends, but they have a much deeper connection already than him and, say, Toji would, even though Toji kind of stopped by that one time to see how he was doing.
That was really sweet.
It was really sweet. But... yeah. We've now seen Shinji have different people in his life that have almost shown him that, that he can exist too.
Yeah.
As you would say in episode 4, he continues to get things that anchor him.
Yeah. Oh.
You like that?
Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, the callback. But yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, and I think that that's a really good way of looking at it, because I think in episode, 2, Shinji makes that comment about how he's used to new ceilings.
Yeah.
Like, or unfamiliar ceilings. That's, I think, the name of the episode, too. But as we've seen, granted, and it's only been 6 episodes, too, so it's cool to see this gradual, like, these little wins kind of adding up in Shinji's corner.
Yeah.
In the sense of belonging and things that, like, anchor him and keep him grounded. And, and now we know more, kind of, about Rei. And we know kind of what her deal is and all that. So I think good call talking about that dialogue, because I think it's really important, both for establishing what that relationship is.
Yeah.
Not with a title, because I think, like you said, they probably don't even know, but establishing that duality of them two existing with each other.
Well, I'm interested to see it moving forward, because like right now, I wouldn't put a name on what they have.
I wouldn't
but
either.
Moving forward, I can see how it would turn into something. Maybe she'll break out of her shell.
Yeah.
And he will too, hopefully.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll just wait. We still have plenty.
Yeah, we're like
see.
a quarter of the way through the season, so we still have a lot to go.
Yeah.
It's like a little less than a quarter, but the next episode's like a little more than a quarter, so...
Yeah, I'd say we're,
By the time we finish the intro of the next episode, we're there.
Then it's signed, sealed, delivered. We're all set. But yeah, no, I'm just really excited for you to see these next sets of episodes, especially when we get to the double digits, because we're 6 episodes in and a lot has already happened. But man, when I tell you we are scratching the tip of the iceberg, we gonna sink like the Titanic, because it goes way, way deep in a good way. There's still a lot more to see, and
right. More of Gendo's lost clone children.
Yep. Just 17 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so, okay, overall, let's hear a review.
All right.
Out of 10 mechs, what are you going to give Episode 6 of Neon Genesis Evangelion, Rei II?
This one's pretty mechy. I'm going to give this one 8 mechs.
I like it. I'm probably going to stick with 8.5.
Yeah.
I think this episode does a good job of, It's interesting because it's obviously a connecting story, but it also feels episodic, where the core focus of these 2 episodes was Rei and Shinji, and yet all of this other stuff happened around it, but it never once felt as though it was forced, or they were doing too much, or that it was trying to, like, make a mountain out of a molehill. It was well executed, lots of great moments where you get to see, like, just these characters existing and kind of living out their day-to-day stuff, but also giving you enough that you're just kind of like, oh, this is what I want. I want more of this.
All right. I would say, like, where this episode really succeeds is that this is a character, like, these 2 episodes as an arc, Rei 1 and 2, they're very character episodes.
Yeah.
The angel that shows up is really more of just, like, kind of a plot device to kind of move you from character point to character point. Like, the angel was low on the importance to the rest of the story. And it was just cool because you get to have the cool character moments, and you still get your angel fight.
Yeah.
And, like, I really liked it.
Yeah.
So far, the show's been really good. It surprised me because I feel like I didn't come in here expecting to give high praise to this show, even though when I was looking up good shows, this was like always on the top. But yeah, dude, it's funny. I was listening to a podcast, a comic book podcast.
Okay.
And somebody in the chat mentioned, they were like, I forget how it started, what the reference was, but they pretty much said that would be like watching Neon Genesis Evangelion as your first anime. Like, and I think the point was like, you're starting at something that sets a bar so high that it's tough to compete with. And then I saw someone put that in the chat and was kind of like, oh, I'm doing that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a valid point, because it's a high bar, but it's a lot. Like you'll see as we get further on, the the series kind of commands your attention, but in ways that it's just extremely interesting to watch and see this kind of grand story unfold. So
right. I mean, I feel like like I haven't seen shows like Gundam. I mentioned that we played the Dynasty Warriors.
Gundam Dynasty Warriors is a very fun game.
Right. But like, I guess my point is like, they're all different.
Yep.
Right? Like in the mech genre, maybe this is top tier mech, but this is so different than what I assume like a Gundam is.
Yeah.
That you really can't even compare.
No.
So like, I guess that comment of setting the bar too high with this, I feel like a show like that I've seen you watch, like One Piece or something like that, those are very different adventures. Like so different that you wouldn't even think to compare something like that.
I think that's the beauty of anime, is that there is such a wide variety of stories and characters and powers and abilities and premises that it's really tough, at least for me, to look and like hold one up over another.
Right.
Because I think you draw different things from different series that you really liked.
Yeah.
But at the core of it, it's enjoyable to watch, and I think that that's kind of the apex of it all, is that, sure, Neon Genesis Evangelion may be kind of an upper, echelon, Michelin Man.
Michelin.
Yeah, Michelin. Of show, in the sense of it's, highly rated, well regarded, and kind of just across the board is everyone's like top pick. But I think at the same time, you're exactly right. There's different adventures and stories to, watch and see told through the medium of anime, that I think that's why I have such an appreciation for the medium, but why I think this show is so great is it knows its story. It tells it very, very well.
Yeah.
And as we've seen only like 6 episodes in, that only continues to be the case as we get further and further. Which is why I'm very excited to see your tail end thoughts on it, because it's it's a wild ride, but
Dude.
it's one I'm stoked that we're checking out together, but also
Me too, man.
The people at home.
That's right, dude. I am excited for what's to come next. Next up, we're going to be getting episode 7 out.
Yep.
So that's going to be a blast.
Yeah, and again, if you guys have any thoughts, you want to let us know your opinions on these episodes, or have another fan theory to go with Spencer's myriad of them.
That's right.
Leave us a comment, shoot us an email. We love hearing from you guys. But until next time, I'm Michael,
and I'm the person who's never seen an anime,
and I'm the person that's seen this anime before, and he's
Spencer.
There it is. And this is HiroBabble. We'll see you next time.